everyone, this is Greyshot17 and today I am covering YouTube content creators, and this is all on YouTube. This was due to a charity unlock, due to me doing all sorts of crazy stuff on stream for a good cause. You guys hit that benchmark, and that is going to be forcing me to give a ranking of CoH2 content creators. This is based on a scale that I brought up. Oh my god, there's a storm outside. But that the ranking system is title, thumbnail, editing, originality, information, and or humor that the video is trying to put on its audience, and is that successful, and the release. Total score was 30. And from that score, I kind of determined where everyone was and then put it into this system. A perfect score being an S tier, missing a handful of points, A tier, you know, and so on and so forth going down the list. And again, some content creators are going to do better than others because some people, let's say, are better editors, but because there's so much editing involved, the possible window for or time period between videos might be very, very large. So that might hurt them a little bit. And again, I tried to balance things out, but hopefully I was fair and you guys think I'm fair. And if not, you guys can all judge yourself because this is going to be on tier makers. So you guys can take screenshots of where you guys would place all the content creators listed below. One thing to note, I am not ranking anyone's personality or political view or anything like that. I am just ranking the YouTube videos and YouTube presentation on YouTube. That is it. Nothing on Twitch either. This is all YouTube based. So if I do miss someone or I miss something, let me know down in the comments below. But just note as well that I'm not trying to rank somebody because I disagree with their opinion or I really like them. I try to put it into the system to judge them fairly, just like I'm not judging myself, because even though I think I could judge myself without being biased, that's probably not the smart move. So I'm going to put myself in the can't rank category because I am judging myself. So there's that. All right, with that all underway and pretty much out there, let's get into the actual ranking of, well, these YouTube content creators. Some of which you may know, some of which you may not know. First off is someone I had no idea of, and that is Hassan Charlie. Okay, and I'm going to get right off the bat with this because Hassan essentially, okay, and I feel really bad for saying this, and again, I have like my cheat sheet to my right, but Hassan, somebody has to be on the lowest tier, and unfortunately, if I'm doing this, that today would be you. And it's not necessarily because I think you're a bad player. It's just the fact that I believe every one of your major videos is Company of Heroes 2 British gameplay. And I don't hate the British, it's just that's the same title. The thumbnails aren't as interesting as maybe they could be. They're just screenshots of the actual video that YouTube has from what it appears to be. You can some people will get a screenshot and it might be of the video, but you can tell that it's taken from another shot, or they might use a better shot that from a different recording to get a better emphasis of what the recording is. Also, your content really doesn't have much edits. It's essentially just one straight gameplay. My little note was Company of Heroes 2 ASMR. So if you really want Company of Heroes 2 playing in the background to help you fall asleep, that was my thought process of his videos. Boy, already starting off super, super good. All right, next up, we have ourselves AE. And AE, as a community impact, again, I'm not judging him based on that, but as a community impact, AE has done wonders for the community in terms of a tournament organizing and casting. I would say, though, that right now I'm going to put AE in the B tier for Company of Heroes 2 content on YouTube. That's not to say his content is bad, not at all. Again, AE has some of the best tournament gameplays and some of the best stuff. So again, and I do believe his casting skill is top notch. So, and especially when he brings in another person to cast in those gameplays. So, what is the issue then? A couple things. First off, and I'll be fair, some of the thumbnails that he has are very well designed and good. Others, it's just a picture that is not, at least in my eyes, just that interesting to look at. It will usually just have a picture of CoH2 with maybe a quick sentence on there or a quick like catchy headline. And again, I don't know, it just doesn't grab me. Like there's going to be a couple other people here who I think does it better. Also, again, his stuff is straight pulled from YouTube. While he does do a great job on Twitch, I'm sorry, he pulls the stuff from Twitch. While his Twitch videos, again, because he edits the intermission scenes, he edits all the different casters, stuff like that in there. When he puts them to YouTube, it's just that. So all the stuff that's being worked on is on Twitch. Not to discount that at all, but it is something to note that a couple people on here do just pull their Twitch streams and then post it on here. So if it's just a straight pull of Twitch without much of a disconnect in terms of editing, there's not much there. But AE has the plus because he does put a lot of work in his transitions, in his how the presentation looks, etc. Which is why I think he's in top tier of B tier. Also, his content release window is very high. So, and again, I think he's top class in terms of his in terms of casting. But he is literally at the edge in my chart for being going up to A tier. So he will remain in B tier. All right, next up, we have Gabriel's gameplays. And this gentleman is someone who does a lot of single-player content. He will do Company for Heroes 2, and if you're wondering, like, wait, how does he do is he just single-player? No, he does do multiplayer, but interesting enough, and actually what I quite like, is he will do a single-player, or I guess versing an AI, game with himself choosing a commander, and then the video will be then titled, like for example here, British Forces Tactical Support Commander. So that way you can watch a video of someone going into that commander, just focusing on that and showing gameplay with it. And I actually think that's kind of unique. Also, his thumbnails, while again they are part of the game or something in it, are actually pretty good. I actually really do enjoy his gameplays. I think his thumbnails are pretty on point. Is he that high on the scale? Well, not necessarily, as it's just a straight video recording. There's not much going on behind the scenes. But again, I can't say it's overly bad. I think the best thing he has is thumbnails. As a lot of his, I checked a number of his videos. I couldn't find any of him really talking. It's more just going over gameplay, which is something you can find in a lot of other channels. Which is even like which some of his videos are like World in Conflict. I play World in Conflict, but I try to add my own commentary there. He's not there yet, but at the very least, he does do a lot. His release schedule is pretty busy. He's constantly putting up content. That doesn't mean quality or quantity is being equaled out in this situation, but especially if when I just said he doesn't really edit stuff, but he does put out a lot of content, so there's that. I would put him at here in D, just because of the fact I do think the best thing is his thumbnails and also the quality, the resolution quality of his videos. And if you are looking for a good, just no commentary look an overview of CoH2 versus AI, it's also not bad. I just add more because it seems like with thumbnails and everything else, he does a lot more behind the scenes work. So I'll put him up to D. So next up on our list, we have Helping Hans, and I'll move Helping Hans up to A tier. Once again, another content creator that releases a lot of content, and also one of the biggest Company for Heroes 2 content creators. AE's up there, but I say that specifically with Hans because Hans is nearly twice as much as AE in terms of subscribers on YouTube, which is actually kind of interesting because what I've been noticing for Hans is he wasn't really on YouTube, and then over the past few years, from just watching on the sides, he's been adding more and more and trying different things and stuff. And actually, a thing I really like about Helping Hans is the fact that he does not only CoH2 content but other RTS content as well. But if I'm just judging it on CoH2, his thumbnails are unique, and if you look at his thumbnail, you can generally get an idea, like, I think that's a Helping Hans. It's not perfect, but I do think he has a better sense of style that some of the people below maybe just don't have, as you can look at someone else's content thumbnail and be like, I don't know if that's specifically that person. I think Hans is a better idea of, okay, I'm trying to link it up with Hans. I think that's a better idea. Also, again, he's not only a caster and goes over games, but he also is one of the best Company for Heroes 2 players who makes YouTube content. So his gameplays are typically top notch, and then he does a variety of stuff as well, from drunk content to community games, and plus actually short skits, which he does editing for. And again, he tries to do his best with the green screen behind him to make entertaining videos within those edits. For example, again, I try to point out the recent one with the Dunkirk. Again, not the best in my opinion with comedy, but I thought was a good attempt and a good video overall. Not great, but again, I think that he does enough with everything he does to at least keep his content interesting. And again, with the amount he produces, you're not missing out at all. Especially with all the games he has. And because of his skill, typically those games are pretty top-notch. So, again, one thing also underrated, I would also say, is also his titles. I thought his titles for a lot of his videos are super catchy. I thought that, again, it goes over the big points of the video. It tells you exactly what the video is, and also gets you hooked on. Which, again, I feel like maybe below, it's not well, some people may be like, oh, okay, this Commander video, it doesn't exactly describe what that game is, where he goes into detail like, hey, this is a 4v4 game, this is the main thing. And I appreciate that when a content creator is adamant, being like, hey, this is the type of content I have. But I think he's a damn good YouTuber, and also again, I think the amount of videos he posts, also, again, I believe out of everyone on this list, while people, again, definitely take revenue from YouTube and content creation as like a part-time thing, he's 100% a full-time content creator from everything that I can see. So again, good for him for managing to make everything work out and make content creation his full-time job. All right, next up, but again, that is not where I'm not ranking him necessarily on that note, though it would explain why he has all the time for it. So hopefully that clarifies how he's able to produce so much content. Next up, we have Matt Gaming. Okay, so Matt Gaming is very interesting, as he's a Company for Heroes 2 caster. So you may say, oh, he does like 1v1s or something. No, he does spearhead games. So again, he does a mod within Company for Heroes 2, and he casts them of different player base and etc. But you may say, oh, great, that's not that bad or that interesting. But again, learning an entire mod and all the kinks of it is the reason why I don't play a lot of mods in Company for Heroes 2, is because of that simple fact. There is a whole different game you have to learn and mechanics you have to learn, which I think is pretty top-notch, all things considered. Now, do I think he's perfect? No, but I did find his casting rather energetic and interesting. And again, I found a lot of his games, even though, again, as someone who is not that interested in a lot of Matt's or a lot of Spearhead videos, I will say is pretty damn fascinating. Because again, not that interested in mods, but the fact you can know that mod so well, I give top credit for. Again, only has about 1,000 subscribers, so one of the smaller guys on my list, especially with Gabriel. Yeah, I think he is definitely one of the smallest guys in terms of scale. But overall, I really did enjoy his content. Now, there are a couple of things. First off, if I'm going off Matt Gaming, is thumbnails. Thumbnails are, generally speaking, an image of the map. Some of them are interesting because they're a landscape shot of the map, which, again, it doesn't necessarily tell me what the video is or anything like that. And his titles are pretty straightforward on average in terms of Company for Heroes 2, Spearhead, and the catchy phrase, which, again, is fine. But I do think he's in the upper tier of C, and I would generally say, if you're looking for a Spearhead cast, seems like a pretty good guy to go to in terms of what I was able to look up and also what I was able to find. What else was there? I should probably mention, because of the video itself being essentially casts, there isn't that many edits in them, so that's also something to keep in mind. But again, I think he puts in a good amount of work for him, and overall, I did enjoy the Spearhead game, especially because I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty good stuff. So, because again, sometimes you'll have a commentator and it just doesn't click. And I've had a couple content creators in the past where I tried to listen to and they just didn't click. So then that's how actually one of the reasons why I started casting. So anyway, next up we have ourselves North Weapon Co., which again, at the very least, like helping Hans, AE, Matt, Gabriel gameplays, although he has there's a lot of people on YouTube named Gabriel gameplays, which is hard to look him up. This is where it's like, it might be better if this person were to make a thumbnail, or not thumbnail, a image that was better suited for them, because I feel like Hassan and Gabriel, it's like Gabriel's at least more distinct. Matt, again, it seems like that's his own thing, although I think it's with because I don't recognize the property, though I would be shocked if that wasn't a property of some type and not something he made. But at least it's distinct enough, in my opinion, to be like, okay, I have no idea what that character is, where I think the person for Charlie would be, Hassan Charlie would be something from Ace Attorney. Or I could be dead wrong with that, but it just strikes me as an Ace Attorney figure. Having your channel literally have a CoH2 banner, I don't think makes you all that distinct. But anyway, I will say the thing that makes him distinct is he's a very good Company of Heroes 2 player. He has quick games, also interesting thumbnails. You would imagine, and again, I'll pull this up, you would see this and say his thumbnails are maybe just like, okay, you know, they're just like essentially the map, the small scale mini map that you just extend for the tactical mode. It's like, okay, I guess that's not interesting. But when compared to everyone else in Company of Heroes 2, that is a very interesting thumbnail. It's not, you know, that interesting, and it doesn't make up for the fact that it's like, okay, it's just the tactical map just extended off from the mini map, but still I think it's an interesting thumbnail to have. His titles I thought were again average, and overall, again, I think he's a very good player from the content I did watch, and he typically ends games pretty damn fast, so again, good for him, and as being a very good player from everything I can see. Now, again, I would say editing-wise, he essentially is just a straight rip of a gameplay, a good quality gameplay, but it's just a rip on the gameplay. However, he does produce a lot of content, which again, maybe makes up for the fact of lack of editing, but still, or lack of substantial editing, like we'll get to, which is hilarious. We haven't talked about the meme CoH2 guys yet, but we'll get around to it. But yeah. Let's see, right now I have him, actually, no, I have an 18 point, so he just barely makes up the C tier. But no, I thought that he was pretty good, but again, I think at a C tier, he's definitely in the lower end of C tier. But yeah, not too much to say with him, just, again, pretty damn good CoH2 content creator that posts live videos of his stuff. But yeah, anyway, next up, we got ourselves, let's see, I believe that is Ribs. Okay, we have ourselves Ribs, and Ribs, again, is a content creator that essentially gets, that tries to get moments in CoH2 that are known and tries to memify it in very short videos. I wouldn't say they're shorts because they're not in the vertical format, but they are very short on content. I would say on average, let's say under 30 seconds. Sometimes it can be a bit more, but at least recently they've been pretty short. And again, sometimes when he does make longer videos, they only go on for a couple minutes. Here's the thing. The thing about Ribs is the fact that he makes a video that's like under 30 seconds, and then he won't make another video for like a month. So even though that you could say, yeah, he puts some editing into it in terms of adding the memes into it, and yeah, some of them do hit the mark in terms of comedy, he's very sporadic for when he does want to release stuff. His thumbnails can go from generally good to just okay, so kind of averaging them out. But yeah, the thing that really does him in is the fact that it takes him a long time to make content that is not very long at all. Also, he's, I think, the second smallest CoH2 content creator with only about 750 subs. So, but again, I will say the short videos he does put up of CoH2 content are quite funny. They're just, again, it's only, let's say, I'm looking at his recent one, under 30 seconds, and then you probably had to wait months before you got another one. Though, again, a few months ago, the one he put up that was 16 seconds was a JoJo reference. At least I'm 90% sure it's a JoJo reference, and it was goddamn hilarious. But again, his content's very all over the place in terms of release window. So that kind of definitely brings him down when you're waiting so long. And again, the kind of like titles, they're fine. The thumbnails, again, I would average them out, and then the humor's good. Some of the shorts I didn't feel that hit, but overall I would say it's, again, up there. He's definitely not ASMR. Which, you know what, I will type this in, that way I feel bad for giving someone an F tier. So we'll just say ASMR tier. Alright, next up we have 7TP, and actually, weirdly enough, he is the biggest, technically, like, strategy game content creator, and also the one that, like, eked by my thing, because, again, he brought himself in, and that was because his recent video is Company of Heroes Ardene's Assault, however, or Offensive. The thing about that is that's CoH2, so again, I was, like, even debating whether to put him on, but there's enough references to CoH2 in the video, I'm like, fine, and he has other CoH2 videos that he makes sporadically that are, again, pretty good, I would have to say, but again, he is 100% meme-based in content. His edits there's a lot of them, but they are typically pretty hilarious and hit all sorts of demographics. I'm actually putting up an A tier. Again, he only releases a video, I would say, once a month or every other month. And again, they range in different strategy games, but it does seem like he has a lot in Company of Heroes. So I will put him up there. Although, again, if there's any person who I feel like maybe shouldn't qualify, it would probably be him. But again, I'm adding him on there just because there was enough references in his most recent CoH video that I'm like, all right, even though it's CoH1, I know I'll add CoH2 into it. That's fine. Anyway, point is, I will add him on here because, again, his videos are quite good. There's a lot of really good edits. There's good pace. There's at least to me, I enjoy the humor. Some of which, again, doesn't stand with me, but other parts I do enjoy. But not really too much to say other than, again, if you like really fast edited comedic videos, probably not a bad channel to check out. Alrighty, next up, though, we got ourselves Stalker. Sorry. Stalker comp. Now, it's funny, when I found this guy, I'm like, oh, this is the content creator. And that's because he does CoH2 videos, but his thumbnails are always smiling. He has the smiling commanders as his thumbnails, which I wouldn't say is, 5 out of 5, but I would say it's definitely pushed itself up there. It's definitely something that'll make you stand out. I thought his tags or title was pretty good. Again, the big thing about his content is the fact that when I was going through it, there wasn't a ton of edits or anything really. So again, kind of pushing it down. So I'm just moving him down here. Oh, I kind of feel bad, but again, at the very least, I enjoy the thumbnails and stuff. Now, again, if I had to be like also a critique, he hasn't released a video in like 2 months, but before then he was at a good pace. But yeah, that's also a reason why he's brought down to D tier, is his release schedule is so sporadic that I just find it a little bit off. So again, I kind of feel bad. I do, because I don't want. I really hate talking negatively about some people, but that's where I'm going. That's probably a good place to put him. And again, you know what? I'm moving Gabriel up to C because he was right on the edges, the low C, upper D on my tier list, and I'm now looking at the two people in D. I'm like, these two people are players that haven't really posted content in a while, or don't post that much. And I don't think so. Yeah, I'll put Gabriel up to C tier. So there you go. All right. Anyway, we got ourselves the propaganda cast. All right. So Imperial Dane. Where should I put Imperial Dane? Where should I put him for the 1v1 cast? Well, I'm going to put him up in B tier. He is 100% the most consistent content creator in terms of CoH2. He releases, and I want to get the number because I do not want to get this incorrect. Propaganda cast. He is on number 3,290 for Company of Heroes. God damn. It is insane how many Company of Heroes 2 replays he has casted consistently wise. He would shoot up thumbnail wise. Again, he has pretty good screenshots of the game with a basic understanding of like, hey, this is what you should expect, go. So if you are familiar with Company of Heroes 2, you immediately should be able to see his thumbnail. Maybe not the best in terms of presentation, but if you see it, you should generally know what you're looking at and like for 1v1 play and be like, ah, yes. And that's a problem. Sometimes you watch a another content creator. Again, I'll give an example, such as AE. And I'm like, okay, this is a 1v1, but what's going on? What are the players doing? The commander, stuff like that. At the very least, Propaganda Cast does that very well, where he definitely showcases that and gives you a good idea, which is why I thought the title and thumbnail were good. Again, editing-wise, there definitely is some stuff going on there, but not as necessarily much. And again, he is a 1v1 caster, so not huge in terms of originality, because there are a lot of 1v1 gameplays from a lot of different channels, but at the very least, he is consistent enough and knows his stuff well enough where I thought he was definitely on the upper end of things. Now, if we keep going, his release schedule probably pushes him up into the insane category. I have him tied, actually, no, I'm sorry, I had him beating AE right now, so he was on the scale, so he up. Thank you, Cat, for jumping on my keyboard. But yeah, no, definitely up there. If you're looking for a guy who consistently casts content, that would be it. Next up, we got ourselves Tightrope. And yeah, Tightrope is somebody, and I think he is here. I think he's A tier. Now, this might be a controversial pick to put him so high up, but let me explain. His thumbnails can range from just okay to screenshots of gameplay, but typically he tries to put a lot of effort in making his thumbnails interesting to look at, so I'll give it there. Titles are catching. Some were more informative for his definitely gameplay of, I believe, casting, and then some of which are more sporadic or crazy when he's playing a game himself. And then, of course, we got ourselves a great commentator, a fantastic player. So either way you're watching him, it's going to be a blast. And then as well, gameplay. Excuse me. Sorry. And anyway, and also informative videos on gameplay to help you describe, let's say, something going on. He goes so in depth with some of his videos that like his like patch notes videos are always fantastic to watch, just because of the fact that he goes so into detail of testing things out. And he will go and test out, let's say, G43s and how, or, you know, I'm just giving out an example of something, and see how they differ between all the different units. He'll essentially do big comparison videos, and you don't see that with anyone else, at least to that scale. So again, have to throw it up there in A tier, just because. And again, probably the only reason I wouldn't put him in S tier, because he does lose a couple points, because sometimes his titles and thumbnails can be are a little too different in terms of the different types of content, though you could always argue that helps separates it. And of course, even though he does edit, I do like how he edits his videos. For example, he has a no spoiler edit at the end of his videos. He always adds on, so that way to make sure that all of his videos are about an hour roughly, or if it goes over, you know, rounding out. But the point is to make sure that you don't know, based on how things are going in the game, when it's going to end. Because you can kind of make out in some videos being like, I think I know how this is going to go based on timing. But no, he makes sure that you generally don't know. So I give credit there. That's what kind of separates him, in my opinion, from other casters, is his ability to go above and beyond to make sure you don't generally know what is happening in those games. Also being super informative, probably the best, I would say probably one of the most technical savvy CoH2 players in terms of knowing all the different mechanics of the game and helping them and explaining them to different people. Helping Hans is it too. Helping Hans has tons of what is he called, boot camps for players. But yeah, no, it's one of those things where it's like I have to give credit where credit's due. And that's why I put Tightrope so high, in my opinion. Now, next up, and this is probably a content creator many of you don't know about, Zany's company. I did not know about this person before doing this, but now that I know, I really like this guy. Okay, so yeah, I should probably, because he hasn't made a CoH2 video in months, of a full variety, I'll bring him down a point, which will bring him down here and have him tie with them. And I'll bring Zany up there. Now, you may ask yourself, Greyshot, is this the dark horse candidate? Yes. But no, I really enjoyed Zany's content. First off, as a commentator, because he essentially does 1v1s, which again, you could say, oh, Greyshot, whatever. You know, there's multiple people on this list itself, plus others you didn't include that do 1v1s. Here's the thing. I find his games very interesting. He has great thumbnails. I was so impressed with his thumbnails and how much he gives away. Again, it definitely gets my attention. I know it may not be, it might be overloaded to some people, but I thought it was pretty good. And also, again, he always tries to have a good picture of the units or something like that, so I got to give credit there. Also, credit to the titles. Again, easily going over what the games have or going on. And again, he does do other types of games as well occasionally, but majority of his content is like 1v1, occasionally 2v2 type stuff. But I really like his casting. He has a decent setup. It's not perfect, but if I have to give like the underrated one, I would probably throw him up there. Let's see right now. And then also, so yeah, I would throw him up there just because, again, I was like, oh, wow, yeah, very informative, knows his stuff going on. Again, looking at this list and how I'm looking at it right now, I'll make final alterations at the end. I feel like I can nitpick this, kind of how I'm seeing this, because I can make a sheet, and then looking at this, I'm like, I think I want to make it different. Anyway, Skippy. Skippy's number one. Yeah, there's no more hiding it. So, I'm not just saying this because of the fact that he is, you know, the new guy or 4v4 guy. Because I know a lot of these guys are generally in their own sphere, for their own, whether it's 1v1 or tournament or whatever, or highly competitive players, which really a lot of those don't apply with Skippy. He's a very good player, and I would say better than me. And I'm generally, I would say, good player. But again, if I'm looking at helping Hans or even Tightrope, they're fantastic players. But again, the thing about it that I would say with Skippy is consistency. He always releases a good amount of content. The editing in them is always top notch. Especially when he first started, when he just put up full games. Now he has a second channel dedicated to all the stream stuff. So that's all his secondary stuff. So for a lot of these content creators, they stream on Twitch and then they post all their blocks to YouTube. I do that even. But the thing about Skippy is he'll edit that down to a cool, interesting, funny video, typically that is separate than the full video, which makes people, even if you watch the original video, more interested to see what he's going to add to it. I also think he's pretty damn funny, and the group of people he plays with are also have good chemistry with each other. I think that the fact he has great thumbnails, again, if some of his thumbnails are very eye-catching, gets a lot of attention, and honestly, if we're just going by pure Company for Heroes 2, he's the biggest one of the bunch, and I feel like that is a very specific reason. His thumbnails are great, his titles are great, his editing is pretty damn on point. Could I say that maybe it is as like quick and energy as was it 70p on this list? No, but I would say it's a damn runner-up, a damn close runner-up. And again, I think he has generally good commentary when he does go into explanations on videos or stuff going on or of games, and also keeping things short. I tend to ramble, and again, that sometimes happens with a number of content creators I know who cast. They ramble on. He's pretty good with his words. He's pretty damn good with his words. And again, like, there are a lot of people that do 1v1 games. There's a lot of people that do, again, they just post games of AI or something like I have on the lower end. But the thing about it is, I don't think there's any content creator here that can neatly fit into what Skippy does, but I could say that Zane's company does something similar to Imperial Dane or something along those lines. So, again, I feel like he also helps separate himself from everyone else. But yeah, no, and again, I could 100% be biased, but I think overall with consistency, editing, thumbnails, title, humor, and originality, I think Skippy is number one. And I gave him an honest-to-God perfect score. Now, if I'm looking at this, I do want to make some changes, because I realized, like, okay, maybe I should probably put Imperial Dane a little higher, just because of the consistency with his 1v1s and how many. That just shoots him up there for me. And then I'll probably put AE just because of the fact for his content in terms of his tournament stuff is so well done. But yeah, I feel like that's a pretty good list. I feel bad for him because I just dropped him quite a bit. But I'm looking at this now, and I did rate him a little higher in release. So I'll drop him a little bit because of 17's release schedule, and that will bring him down into B tier. So anyway, that's... I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good about that list. Okay. I feel pretty good about this. Yeah. I say this is a pretty good list of content creators based on everything I gave. Now, again, this doesn't list Twitch. This doesn't list Impact. Because, again, if we're adding Impact, AE would shoot up because of his impact in tournaments. Helping Hans would probably increase because of his community impact on Twitch. Let's see. And again, I know Tightrope streams on there, but like Skippy also has a great fan interaction on Twitch as well. But that's why I'm not including Twitch stuff, because I want to try to keep this as simplified as possible. And also, a lot of these other content creators don't necessarily have that component on other platforms. So that's why I tried to isolate it to just YouTube. But yeah, no, what do you guys think? This is probably one of the hardest videos I have, because again, I hate judging others in this capacity. I truly do not like doing this, at least with others. I don't mind doing it with, let's say, properties or movies or something, because it's like general. Like, I don't think I'm making fun of Moonfall at all for saying it's a generally good bad or a bad good movie, or what. It's a movie so bad it's hilarious, but also still bad. But like in this general sense, I am judging content creators. So don't go and like bash anyone here for being like, oh, you're low on Greyshots here. Don't do that. But hopefully at least I brought eyes to Company for Those 2 content creators, or at least content creators that use Company for Those 2 in their stuff quite a lot. And hopefully that brings interest maybe to viewers here to go check them out. And again, if you have your own tier list, take a screenshot, set it, and again, you can put it on my Discord and send it to me on the media Discord channel or anything like that. But no, that's going to be it for me. I'm curious to see what you guys think of this. I can't wait for all the people to yell at me for not including X person or Y. But again, if they haven't posted a video in quite some time, or they just aren't of a high enough subscriber limit on YouTube, I just didn't want to count them just for time. But let me know what you guys think. This has been Greyshot17, and I'll see all of you guys next time. Hello everyone, before y'all go, you can check out more content above, you can subscribe, and you can hear as I talk about some amazing people who support me on Patreon, which include Folkvard, Aphyria, Joey G240, Milam, Ace, ShinobiWarrior, PyroShark, XSomeToolx, Epic Pleb. Thank you all for your incredible support. You literally help this channel keep on growing, so thank you. If you want to support the channel, again, check out some of the stuff I mentioned. Otherwise, I'll see all of you next time.